Hey, it's Jeff from Home Renovation here. Today I'm here to tell you all about how to make a hole. Yeah, I know, exciting stuff, right? Truth is, it's incredibly good information to have if you're a home renovator. There's been a lot of innovation and a lot of change in the industry over the last little while. And so having the right information so you know how to buy the right tools to get the right kind of result is really important. So we're gonna go through a bunch of different stuff that's going on in the marketplace, teach you a bunch of tips and tricks to help you have the most successful renovation you can have in your own. I don't really know where to jump in and start on this, so I'm just gonna let it all come out and we'll see where we end up, all right? Here's how this works. A long time ago, we decided we were gonna start running mechanical in people's homes. And there was two kinds. There was plumbing and there was heating and there was some electrical. Plumbing was basically minimized to hot water radiators. And so they had to drill a hole about 3/4 of an inch wide. And so they had the old hand corkscrew drill. And they literally use that to make these holes to run plumbing. Aside from that, they use the same kind of tool for electrical, right? So you'd have one guy on your crew 100 years ago and he spent his whole day going like this, augering out those holes. It took forever. The HVAC guys didn't bother with any of that. They just took out saws and they just cut great big squares out of everything and made a mess of all of the floor joist package. Since then, we've come a long way. So now we've got power tools, not hand tools. So we have the ability to use a drill to make a hole in just about anything, anytime, anywhere, for any reason. And I wanted to just start off with, if you are a homeowner, there's two major tools to making holes. One is the impact driver and one is the drill driver. Now, a lot of holes you can make with this impact driver, and if you're only gonna have one drill, you can do almost all of the projects you're gonna need with this one drill because they make drill bit accessories with the quick connect tips. Okay, ready to go. Nothing to it. Now we have two different kinds of bits here. Obviously this is a titanium bit and this is a spade bit. That's what they call it. It has an auger fed system, locks in place, and we have an auger bit. Okay, now this is a regular drill bit and this is actually titanium. So while we're talking about that, I've got one other kind of drill bit for making a hole for drill bits, and that is a black oxide. Now, when you're out buying and you're shopping around, the black oxide is a lot cheaper, okay? The titanium will last up to 5 times longer. That's just the way it is. It's a much stronger composite, much stronger metal, okay? Now, if you're not doing a lot of drilling and you just need the occasional hole, then this is a great little set to have. But if you're gonna be in the trades, definitely up your game, okay? Now, the limitations with this, with drilling holes, is that we move into the bigger the hole, the bigger the tool, okay? For instance, here's a hole saw kit, all right? This type of hole saw requires a variable chuck. It doesn't have the quick connect. And so that's where this drill comes in. This drill has the ability to have a different chuck size so you can stick this kind of tool in and lock it in place. And then we're ready to go, okay? So the bigger the hole, the bigger the tool. Just keep that in mind. If you're only gonna buy one drill, you're probably not gonna be able to drill holes for plumbing unless you have a drill driver. You can get away with electrical because they make spade bits up to 1.5 inches. And you don't need to have too many holes out there that are 1.5 inches for electrical. Let me tell you. Now, we're gonna use this mock-up here and we're gonna demonstrate how to drill some holes. We're gonna show you some tips and tricks in there as well. And because if you're gonna be drilling holes and doing plumbing and electrical, then there are things you need to know as far as building code is concerned that could pass or fail your inspection. And it could also cause floods and fires if you do it wrong. So I wanna make sure you do this right, okay? Let's deal with electrical. Electrical is a great place to start, and then we'll move into all the plumbing that we're gonna need, okay? So for electrical, I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna use this one because we're gonna simulate somebody who's just making holes for their own wiring. And here we go, I've got a 1-inch hole. And now with electrical, what you understand is that we're gonna pass the wire through the wall, okay? Now this wall here is 3.5 inches, okay? Now the electrical code wants your wire passed 1.5 inches from finished wall. So you also get drywall. All right, so drywall is 1/2 inch, and that means you got 1 inch here and 1 inch from there. you've got this great big space here that you can drill a wire and you're going to be just fine, all right? And the reason for that is that the building code has got everything down to a science, all right? And I know a lot of people don't understand it this way, but it does. Even the screw that you're using to attach your drywall, if it's a 1/2 inch thick drywall, you use an 1.25 inch screw. And it only goes so deep, okay? And so you're never gonna come in contact with your wire if you put it in the right place. So what we do is we're gonna take the drill, and now either of these drills, if you use these short bits, are gonna be able to fit inside the wall cavity. You don't have to drill in an angle, okay? Now, just for demonstration here, if you don't have a cavity that's 16 inches on center, and you use a long bit, you might not be able to get your tool in, but they do sell it in a shorter version, okay? So it'll help you in tighter spaces. Plus, the difference between the two drills, all right, this is a much more compact scenario. So it gives you a lot more versatility. So when I'm coming in to drill the hole, I can just go square in off this, set this in the middle of the stud, and then just drill. Hold the battery in case you hit something and it flings up in your face, okay? And just go at it. Done. Nice quick work. Now, there are more efficient ways to make holes, especially for electrical. And that is to use a regular drill bit and make sure it's square the tool. There we go. You'll see that this drills through a lot faster. Okay, you get the difference? Different tool, different design. This also fits in this drill. It's not as fast, all right? Just give you an idea. Now, if you are caught in a spot where you don't have a lot of flexibility to get the drill in the area, you can use what we call this flexible extension. And this is gonna blow your mind. I can take my short bit, okay, and I can set it where I wanna put it, and I can stick this pipe on this crazy angle. Hold the extension. It's not sexy, but it'll get the job done. And the more compressed the situation, the easier it is to make that work because it's not gonna be bouncing around, okay? The other thing you can do with this is you can run your plumbing. Now, we have a floor joist cavity here. And we're gonna do a demonstration where we're gonna run our plumbing. Let's do it this way. I'm gonna run my plumbing line from a floor joist. Now, I don't want to go near the top. Same thing. Subfloors get screws, so keep it down. Keep it a couple inches away. Now, in this scenario, I'm on an outside wall. And in a lot of places, you're going to have problems with this. Or you could be on an inside wall and your floor joist is sitting there as well. So if I was to translate this information, floor joist is the first 1.5 inches. I can't drill in that part of the wood, all right? But what I do want to do is I want to drill down, but because it's PEX and we want it to bend up gradually, I want to drill down on an angle, okay? So you can either set your drill, but you don't have much of an angle there, right? This is where this bit comes in really handy because I can set my drill hole way back here, get started. Now, I can do it this way. Get a really nice aggressive angle. All right. There, that's a great angle. Wow. Clean out the burrs. Now, where is the end of my pipe? There it is. And here's another little tip for you. If you're going to be renovating and using PEX, leave it in the rack. They come 50 and 100 foot roll, and you can take the pipe out from the inside, and then you can just release as much as you need. That keeps the rest of that pipe in that package. I know, blows your mind, right? As soon as you cut all that plastic away, it's going to become this 4 foot large roll. It's difficult to manage. This keeps it manageable. So now we got this pipe. You'll see it comes out of the package. It's all bent all over the place, but that's fine. Okay, we're going to come through the hole. So here we go. Now my PEX is coming up through the wall and it's already on a slope. So I don't have much of a bend to make, okay? I'm not going to cause a kink in the line making that corner. The next is this. While we're talking about plumbing, we'll grab some plumbing pipe and we'll show you about your drain. Now, let's say we're going to put a drain over here. You can see my dilemma. I have this restriction from the wood underneath that I'm just talking about, right? Okay, so I need to get a nice big hole here. I have a couple of options. I can use a hole saw that's big enough that fits over the pipe, so I can have a hole, and I can use this kind of bit. And when it comes to these bits, there's two kinds. The kinds that are a little on the lower cost, and they just tighten on, okay? That's all they do. They're just like a nut. And the problem with these is, when this gets hot, it expands and overheats. You can't take that bit off for like a week, all right? You need 2 tools and some lubricant. This kind here has pins. And when the pins are out, it unthreads real easy. I'm gonna demonstrate right here. I'm gonna throw the pins in, and you can see the pins growing from behind the wheel. Ready? Okay, and you just line them up with the holes, and the pins can go in the hole. If you don't have enough room, you just tighten up a little bit, and then extend the pins into the holes. There we go, okay? This type is always gonna be able to be taken apart, because you're just backing the pins out and you don't have everything seized on there really tight. So this is a better type of hole saw. Of course, you can go to the hardware store and you can buy something like this for about 30 bucks, okay? And you have one size will do almost all of your plumbing, okay? Most of the plumbing you're gonna be cutting holes for is gonna be just this, 2 inch or 1.5. So just buy one hole saw for 2 inch hole and you'll be able to do most of the plumbing on your own. But if you're in the trades, I'm gonna recommend you up your game and you get something like this. Now this has got great auger bits for running plumbing, PEX, but it also has these monsters here. It even comes with an extension, okay, if you need it. Now, this auger bit here is only available for this drill. Now it has a self-feeding screw system on the front, and the whole side of that shaft is one blade, okay? This burns through wood like nobody's business. Let me just demonstrate here. Hold on. Soften up your power a little bit because it wants to eat in so bad it'll just bury itself before it gets there. If it stops working, I'll demonstrate here. Yeah, usually it gets covered up with wood on the inside the auger here. So what you do is you just go in reverse and clean that out. And then you can go again. Come on, baby. Now, like most hole saws, when you get near the end, this threaded tip here is no longer pulling it through. You have to start to push. Now look at this. That's a lot of debris. You're taking out a lot of wood. Now, these bits are more designed for the professional 90-degree angle hole saw. They actually make a tool that's just for that. It's a few $100, and so most homeowners are gonna go and put this right in their own drill like I'm showing you. I'm not gonna show you the other tool because it's not necessary. You can rent one if you want it. It doesn't kick and throw you around. But the point is, as long as you're anchoring yourself and you're holding that battery real tight, you should be okay. Woo-hoo. Okay. Yeah, that's work. Now, the sharper this is, the better it works. Mine obviously is dull and needs to be sharpened. But I wanted to give you an idea of the kind of fight that you're in for when you do this. Okay. The other option for making a hole for doing plumbing, and this is kind of funny, but you ready? Let me just get this out of the way and I'll show you. This is just ridiculous. And then you take a Sawzall, you stick it in the hole, and you cut the other 3 sides. Now, if you're gonna do something like that, you're gonna have to consider using a plate, either situation. Okay? If you can drill the hole, you're gonna wanna put something like this on. I need my damn hammer. Demonstrate that. Whenever you're working on your house, especially when you're working on your own house, and you run into a situation where you've got plumbing or electrical passing through the frame closer than 1.5 inches, you get a plate and you put that on there. And the reason you put it there is because when you go to attach a wall, you know you have framing across the bottom. And then you know where your studs are because you're installing wallboard. And so your screw line is down the studs and across the bottom. And you don't want to put a screw into your drain or in your water supply or into your electrical. So whenever you're in the wrong location and you don't have that gap left, can you imagine? You do your house, you get all the plumbing done, all the electrical done, you're ready to close, you close it up, you screw on your drywall, you don't have a plate, you put a screw right in the drain, okay? You don't know there's a problem. You finish it, you put the kitchen cabinets in, you do all the tile work, the counters, then you find out you have a problem. Look at this location. Guess where that is? Just a couple inches below the toe kick on your cabinets at the back wall. The only way you can get in to fix that is to tear all of the cabinets and countertops out again. Yeah, it's a $1,000 mistake, or it's 10 cents. Okay, spend the money, protect your plumbing. All right. The other option you have is you have a big mess, is you can buy one of these. Now this is a 4.5 inch cover plate for electrical box, all right? And you can stick that there too, and just use a couple of screws and throw it in place. You can use these anywhere, so feel free. You always got an option in the electrical aisle to buy protective plates for your plumbing, okay? I'm gonna show you the painful process for making a hole, because that was actually relatively easy. This is what a lot of people end up using. God help us all. This assembly actually fits in between the floor joist cavity. It's less than 15 inches, so I can still drill a hole through the side. I'm gonna find wood with no knots, because it's already difficult enough. That's a brand new bit pretty much, so we'll see how well it works. Yep, pretty dangerous, huh? That's all right. That's okay, because we're cheap and we're invested. We want to do this, and we don't want it. Oh, yep, you getting the idea here? Not the right tool for the job. Well, I'm not going to come all the way through that hole. I'm going to rip myself to shreds, and I'm going to need too much electrical tape, and I'm almost out. So let's move on. Let's see what we got. So we showed you how to do plumbing, water supply, drain lines, electrical lines. These bits here are actually, they're quite dangerous, and they're somewhat cost effective, but you really got to be using that right angle drill, because that's the drill that doesn't have the same kind of torque as these drills, okay? It goes a lot slower, and it won't jerk around on you if you make a mistake. Okay, big tools need big drills. This is another way to drill a hole. With this drill, you can drill a hole really quick. So let's drill a hole and we'll show you how well this one works. Done. Now, it comes an 1.5 inches, but that's the wrong dimension for the 1.5 inch pipe. Remember, 1.5 inch ABS is the interior dimension. This will not drill out the pipe, okay? So don't buy the wrong tool for the wrong job. Remember, 1.5 inch ABS requires about a 2-inch hole, okay? So when you're shopping, if you're gonna buy a whole kit like this, you're gonna be in the neighborhood of about $300, $400. This is definitely for the pro. Okay, what did I do there? But they are amazing, and I love them. All right, so we've shown that, we've shown that, we've shown that. We haven't shown this yet, have we? No. This has a quick connect, and it's extender. This is for everyone who's vertically challenged. Like when I'm working with my kids. Snaps in, okay? So now you can reach above your head. You don't need a ladder to drill through holes through the plate to run your wiring. Okay, this works amazing too. Important when you're doing this, don't push too hard. Let the drill bit do the work. Pushing doesn't help, okay? You push too hard, it almost stops moving. All right, now you're into the attic. Piece of cake. That'll save your bacon, right? Just having the extender around. That gets you another 15, 16 inches. Brilliant. Okay, now, the next thing is this list of little titanium bits. You buy a kit like this, you get all kinds of things. Now, these smaller bits down here, they're generally used for pilot drills. Just preparing a hole. Like if you're gonna be screwing through hardwood or something like that, you can pilot a hole, okay? Or just pilot a hole through metal. If you're doing shower door installations and you wanna just prepare the hole for the set screw that holds the door kit with the U-channel that's against the wall. This is brilliant because when it comes down to it, the way you find the right pilot hole is you take your screw, and when you look at it, there's the thick shaft in the middle, and then there's the rings on the outside. And a good pilot hole is the same size as the thickness of the shaft, and you allow the rings to do all the grabbing and all the work. So if you're going into metal, there's something there to hold on to. If you're going into wood, it's got something to carve into. And I'll just go in front of the screw, and if I can see the drill bit is as wide as the screw rings, I'll just go down till I find one that's the right size. That's still too big. And I think, yeah, there we go. This is going to be the perfect size. Now you can see it really clearly. When I hold it in front, I can still see the rings of the screw in behind it. So you can still see the thread of the screw extend past the width of that. That makes a good pilot hole, okay? So then you can just drill a hole, okay? And the screw won't push into it, but you can almost screw it by hand or a screwdriver at that point, okay? Because you've pre-drilled a hole. Now that fastener, it's also not going anywhere. Okay. That was only 2 threads in. Amazing, eh? So consider that when you're working with delicate finishing, okay? So not every time you drill a hole is going to be during construction. Sometimes you need to have tricks to do finishing work as well. And pilot holes are worth money in the bank. I got one more little tip to show you. It's more like a trick. And this is a great little gizmo. This is from DeWalt. It's their new extender. It's like a right angle hole saw, but for smaller scenarios, okay? I don't know when you might need this, but it has an attachment that is like a bit extension, clips together. All right, now it's quick connect, okay? Now look at this. I got a quick connect. I can drill a hole anywhere, right? Okay, so now, if you're in an interesting spot, now I can drill a hole through here. Just use this like a pistol grip. Oh yeah. That actually worked pretty good. I like that. It's a great little tool. All right, the other option, of course, is for really tight spaces. It just has a little release here, and it turns. And then you can pop this collar back on. Bam, snaps in. Here we go, quick connect. You also got this little lever here too, all right? That actually was a lot faster. I like that. You know, if you're doing decking work, and you know sometimes you gotta just get in there and put in a lag bolt and it's an inconvenient spot, this is a great way to get that perfect 1/2 inch hole for all of your nuts and bolts. That's pretty cool. Fun. Now listen, this was only, I think it was 20 bucks. That was a great investment. I'm gonna have to put that somewhere, make sure I don't lose it. Now remember, the bigger the hole, the bigger the tool, okay? But if you're a homeowner and you're just doing smaller projects and you only want to own one drill, then you can get away with owning an impact driver and buy the quick connect bits to make holes all the way up to, I think we got up to 1.5 inch spade bit, okay? That's on the market. That's about as big as you're gonna get. And then you're gonna have to upgrade. So if you wanna run some PEX plumbing or if you wanna run some wiring, this little bad boy here will do everything you need. If you wanna get into moving your plumbing around, you're gonna have to get to this big. One more thing, I just wanted to tell you a little secret. If you're gonna start drilling holes with a hole saw like this or a 3-inch hole, and you're trying to move plumbing with that big a hole in dimensional lumber, you gotta be really careful here because dimensional lumber is not designed to have that big a hole drilled in it. You can't run 4-inch holes for exhaust ducts and stuff like that. You'll weaken the lumber and wreck your structure, okay? So what we do is we would call up an engineer. They say, okay, based on that size of a hole, I'm gonna recommend that you drill the hole and then you take plywood with adhesive and structural screws and you cover that hole and then you drill it back from the other side again, okay? And then depending on the size of the hole and the load that's on that floor joist, if it's just foot traffic, you're fine with one layer of plywood, usually 1/2 inch, sometimes 5/8. But if it's a structural for the house, it's holding up a wall, he'll have you do the other side as well, and then you drill back through the other side, and you glue and screw that side as well, okay? Now, they'll give you the dimensions for how long that run of plywood needs to be, and all that sort of thing. Usually 4 feet is what they're working with. Just give you that little tip as an advance. You can put holes in plumbing, dimensional lumber, up to a 2-inch hole without having to worry about it, okay? There's no code issue. But as soon as you get bigger than that, now you gotta get a structural engineer. If you have engineered floor joists, anything that's in that OSB area, so we have lumber on top, lumber on the bottom, OSB in the middle, anything in that OSB area you can drill through and have added up to 6-inch hole. That's the best that I'm aware of. Now, if the code's different in your area, make sure you get in the comments section and let us know, okay? But generally speaking, that's about enough information for you to go and get all your electrical and all your plumbing rerun throughout your whole house. If you like this video and it helps you out, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we're doing a whole series here on how to open up your floor and how to build things and how to drill your holes and how to close it up and how to level your floor joist package. And if you haven't seen all those videos, click over here and start this series from the very beginning. It's going to be a 5-part series that we cover all the information, basic construction, and how to do your project and get it done right the first time. Cheers till next time.